It's just so amazing to know that just as Julie came to speak about reimagining education in Africa, I'm also here to speak about a similar topic. This should simply tell us how important this topic of education is to Africa. And so I ask, if one stone can break a glass and one sentence can break a heart and 1 second can make someone fall in love, then why is a lifetime in school sometimes not enough to learn anything? Millions of children are in school today, but then are they really learning anything? Why are they learning without learning? We've made incredible progress in getting children into schools. For decades, access to education has become the centerpiece of educational policies around the world, in Africa, and rightly so in Ghana. And so in Africa, for instance, gross primary enrollment rate has climbed from around 70% in the early 2000s to consistently hover between 98% and 99%. Now, the picture even becomes more clearer when you look at my country, Ghana. Because in recent years, Ghana's gross enrollment rate has remained relatively stable, oscillating between 99% and 100%. To put an icing on the cake, just in 2017, the government of Ghana implemented a free senior high school policy, which allowed over 3.5 million Ghanaian students to access secondary education. Huge achievement, right? But then we've confused presence with progress. We've mistaken participation for transformation and equated access for learning. Because in many schools around the world, students reach the end of primary schools without being able to read and write, what we call foundational learning today. According to the World Bank, 6 out of 10 children are in school globally, but then most of them cannot read and write. Now, research done by UNICEF on my country, Ghana, shows that less than 1 in 5 10-year-olds can actually read when they reach basic 2 level. Now, the situation for that child in the village is even more appalling, because when they reach age 14, only 17% of them are able to achieve that basic level of reading proficiency. This is not just an education failure, guys. It is a social and economic emergency, because clearly we've won the battle for access, but we are losing the war for learning. But then why does this even matter? Why should this deserve our attention this evening when we could have actually gone to O'Neill's to party, or maybe go for 4 miles in Lincoln College or Balliol College? Because see, when a child spends 6 or more years in school and they still cannot read and write, they don't just fall behind. They fall out of love with learning. Their confidence breaks, their future narrows. And guess what? These students will be made to compete globally with students from Oxford, Stanford, Bradford, or even Hartford. These students don't just deserve a place in school. They deserve a place and the tools to learn, the tools to grow, and the tools to dream. And so what needs to change? What can we actually do as policymakers to change it? And because of time, I'm going to propose 3 things. First of all, we need to equip our teachers to teach at the right level, not just to deliver the curriculum content or the syllabus. And in India, for instance, Pratham has pioneered the Teaching at the Right Level initiative, where teachers do not just go to the classroom to teach, but then they make sure that they actually adjust their instructions to make sure every child achieves foundational learning. And the result is highly and statistically significant. And EPP tells us that this then can be transported and adapted in a context like the Ghanaian context. Second, we have to make sure that we conduct regular literacy and numeracy checks and make sure we identify students that are struggling. Because without regular assessments of foundational learning, students can actually move from one grade to another grade and to another grade without anyone realizing that they are falling behind. And even though my government has actually implemented a national standardized test to make sure that there is this assessment for primary 2, primary 4, and primary 6 students, I am proposing we begin these assessments early. We begin this assessment in grade 1 so that we'll be able to detect and respond to children's needs in real time. And lastly, I speak from experience when I say that government must ensure that our children learn the things that matters. Reading, reasoning, critical thinking skills, problem-solving skills, not just overloading the curriculum with rote content. You go to Finland, and they've shifted towards a competency-based curriculum, which is emphasizing learning, critical thinking skills, and problem-solving skills. Teachers in Finland today are able to contextualize their learning to fit their students' purpose. And guess what? There is less emphasis on examination and more on understanding. Maybe, just maybe, we should all move to Finland. But then I believe this is something that the Ghanaian government, with the political will, can also do. And so I ask again, if one stone can break a glass, and one sentence break a heart, and 1 second make someone fall in love, then see, let's believe that with one policy, one change in mind, we can reignite a lifetime of learning. Because children don't just deserve a place in school. They deserve to learn. They deserve to grow. They deserve to reason. And most importantly, thrive in this competitive global world. Thank you.